All right, Sistas fans, hope everybody's doing well. Credit to Sherry Elliott on Instagram for bringing this to my attention. And I thought about it. I went back and rewatched some scenes from season one. And as always, if anybody feels like this theory has any holes in it, or Jeremy, I think you missed this line of dialogue or something, feel free to chime in. But the theory is Zach never gave Karen an STD. She must have got it from messing around with someone else. Now, first of all, I feel like for the most part, I'm over my cold, aside from a few coughs here and there. So if I sound weird, that's why. I'm not congested anymore, which is good, but it seems like there's a dry cough every now and then. So again, if I sound off, that's why. But I want to read her message here. Since you are the expert, in my opinion, on all things Zatima and Sistas, I have a question. We've heard Karen and the girls talk about Zach cheating and giving Karen STDs. Zach has never admitted to anything but the cheating itself. And none of the women he's fooled around with in the past have accused him of giving them a virus. We know Zach has never admitted to it. Now, what we learned in season 6, episode 1, is that both Zach and Fatima were tested. And Zach even said, hey, I've been mad tested. And they both passed with flying colors in terms of like no diseases or anything like that. Especially with all the sex they have, it's good to be tested, just to make show they good. Now, in this week's episode, we learned that Zach never went to a doctor. Someone is lying, and based on what the viewing audience is being told, it's not Zach. If Zach was spreading around viruses and had not been treated by, a doctor, he'd be in pathetic physical shape, or there will be signs. The math ain't mathin'. Help me make sense of this. Now, my interpretation of what Zach said in this episode about the doctor, my interpretation was, hey, Zach meant he hasn't been to the doctor in a while in terms of like getting a physical or anything like that, as opposed to getting tested for a virus. And if we go back to the earlier seasons, even if I'm not mistaken, the first episode of the show, we're introduced to Karen. She's in the waiting room of a clinic to get checked to see if she had anything, and she was clean. So then she brings up the whole thing about Zach giving her a virus in the past and whatnot. She needed like an ointment to get rid of it. This actually is a good theory, because here's what I think. Zach never got a virus from another chick. I think Karen got a virus messing around with another man. Now, it could have been Rico or someone else, but did some research, and a condom can greatly reduce but never entirely eliminate the risk of diseases being transmitted. Abstinence is the only method to completely eliminate the possibility of catching one of these viruses. And, when it comes to Karen, what does she say to Andy? Well, I let him put the tip in, so that doesn't count as cheating. Could this have been Rico's tip without a condom? Who knows? Like I said, it could have been another person altogether, but think of it this way. Zach isn't the smartest person, especially if you go back to the earlier seasons. Here's what I think. Karen found out she got a virus. She goes off on Zach. And Zach admits to cheating. And it all kind of lines up. Oh, okay, well, I just found out I got this thing. So who you been sleeping with? What are the bitches you been sleeping with, Zach? And then Zach comes clean. Now, I'm no expert in the viruses, but I do know that some are like dormant. So is it possible that let's say Zach did do it. Is it possible for Zach to transfer the virus from the chick he allegedly banged? He carries it and gives it to Karen, yet he shows no sign of it. I think that was the Rona in a nutshell, where you can catch the virus from someone else, not actually show any symptoms of it, but still have it, and yet you can transfer it to someone else and they can get really sick. So I guess the same thing can happen with STDs. And if that's the case, well, yeah, Zach would have done it. It's just that he never showed signs of it. But I think it would fit better with Karen's character for being manipulative and whatnot to cover her own tracks. Because as far as I know, Zach doesn't know about any of Karen's side dudes. Because if I'm not mistaken, one time in season 1 when they were driving back from somewhere, because I think it was when Andy had just got assaulted by Morris, they picked her up from the police station and brought her home. I want to say Zach mentioned, yeah, you know, I messed up and whatnot, but you've never cheated on me, right? And then Karen never looked him in the eye. She said, no, I haven't. So yeah, Zach doesn't know about the guys she hooks up with whenever they're going through issues or they have their mini breakups. Karen has hit all that stuff. It's kind of like Veronica on the Haves and Have-Nots. David, don't cheat on me and don't hit me. Yet we learn towards the final seasons of the show, Veronica slept with a number of people, judges, thugs, and the list goes on. And I'm talking like when she was married to David, not just all the guys she was banging later in the show. But it seems well within Karen's character to mess around without Zach knowing, catch a virus from whatever dude or guy she was sleeping with, point the finger at Zach, and then he has to come clean about who he's been sleeping with. And then Karen, you know, is quote unquote the victim. And again, this lines up with her victim mentality, never holding any accountability. And it just makes sense. I love this theory, and I think it does add up when you really think about it. Zach may have been exempt from being the person to give Karen STD. She did it her damn self. Because I think it actually fits when you think about it. I mean, what you had Helen, or was it Helen or Helena from season 1, the co-worker at the airport. Yeah, you had Helena, you had Belinda, and a number of other women. Connie just recently. How come none of them have ever said anything about a virus, but only Karen? Yeah. I think, again, this adds more fuel to the fire that Karen has been messing around with a lot of guys we don't know about. It might just be more than Rico, guys. It might be more than Rico. But we'll just have to wait and see. So what do you think about the theory? Do you think Zach has been clean the entire time and Karen got whatever viruses she got from another person? I think it's kind of ironic if she did, because she's trying to pin this baby on Zach when it could be another dude's baby. So she pinned the blame for the STD on Zach when it could have been another dude that messed her up. So like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.